What's going on, gamers? We've got an interesting article here to talk about. And yes, this is going to be about Bloodborne. Also, I mean, they're saying Demon Souls is in here, but mainly this is about Bloodborne, obviously, because the article here says Sony remade Demon Souls, so why won't it touch Bloodborne? Well, I can answer that question for you real quick. We're going to read about some comments here as well, too. So everybody loves Bloodborne, obviously, right? I mean, obviously I do, too. I got a platinum on that game. Phenomenal game. And since the PS4 generation, everybody has been wanting even a PS4 Pro patch, a PS5 patch, PS5 Pro patch, something, right? Backwards compatibility update, a next gen remake. What I realized is that when Sony did the Demon Souls remake, it was 2 generations later. And I'm telling you guys right now, when it comes to Bloodborne, it's going to be a PS6 game. And even Miyazaki said that if he wants to do something, he at least likes to wait 2 generations because it makes a bigger impact. It wouldn't have made as much of an impact if they would have did the PS5 remake. No, they need to do a PS6 remake, and I think that's what they're going to do. Not only that, but Bluepoint did Demon Souls remake, and one thing that you guys have to understand is that when it comes to Bloodborne, Miyazaki takes that very serious. He even had a recent article talking about, that's kind of like his most personal work. More than anything, and that he doesn't want anybody to touch it unless he's involved, really. So it's kind of like that with Sony's license and their behind the scenes understanding of the way this game actually is valued and how they both want it to go in both ways at the same time. So it's not happening without Miyazaki. And he's doing Duskbloods, which is kind of like something similar to that, but in a different way. I'm looking forward to that this year on the Switch too. Yeah, you're not going to see the remake, not remaster, till the PS6 era. And like I said, Miyazaki said he does not want it to be tampered with. He needs to be involved. He takes that game very serious. So we have here the Outer Haven writes, Bloodborne is still one of PlayStation's most beloved exclusives, but it remains trapped on PS4. Meanwhile, Demon Souls got a full PS5 remake, but why? Well, dude, it's 2 generations later. So scale the same thing. PS4, 2 generations later, PS5, PS6. Same situation, except Miyazaki is going to be involved. And there is your answer right there. But we got some other stuff to talk about because we can look for more details too. Down here it says Demon Souls was a PS3 game. Bloodborne is PS4 and can be played on PS5. There's no need for a remaster. You got more people liking this than people disliking this. And it's what I was saying before. That was a PS3 game. And if you jump 2 generations later, you can definitely see an impact on the technology and the remake. And it is there. It looks absolutely incredible. Still one of the best looking games today. With Bloodborne, they want to do the same thing and just have it just be absolutely amazing. And I'd rather wait, right? You know what I mean? I don't want a remaster or remake, though I don't have to most people would probably ask for that. To look not that much better. No, it needs to be impactful. And I think if you wait till PS6, that's definitely going to happen. Going down, he says, I completely agree with you on this. If you want remasters or remakes, give us games from the PS1 or PS2 era, like Legend of Dragoon. Oh man, that would be nice. That game was amazing. But that's what I mean. Like if it's that far back, you could make a huge leap and say, man, yeah, this is impactful. So this guy says, I mentioned that in my article. Did you read it? Because he's on here. I literally pointing out this is exactly why the game is still doing well and why Sony has 0 reasons to remake, remaster. I don't know, they do. And there are plenty of PS4, PS5 games to remake, remaster to counterpoint that. Marvel Spider-Man remaster, GTA 5, Ghost of Tsushima, Control, Death Stranding, Final Fantasy 7, Uncharted. Well, those are PlayStation first-party games that are like Sony's in-house. You know what I mean? They're going to do that because they want to keep reselling it. Bloodborne and Miyazaki, they don't do stuff like that. They work a little bit differently and much slower. And when they release something, it needs to have an impact. So that's not going to happen. There might be some licenses, red tape they can't get around. Well, like I said, Miyazaki specifically stated that he wants to be involved. And he's obviously got his hands full, and he's been having his hands full because he likes to go all in on things. So he's not going to just have somebody do that to the side when he takes that game personal at heart. He says that is his most personal game at heart. He literally just said that recently. If you guys can look it up, it's a recent thing that just happened about 2 days ago. So yeah, I mean, plus Sony's gonna, respect that, and he's gonna respect Sony's publishing aspects too. So there's 2 things going on with that. He doesn't own that Plus, he doesn't want it to be touched. So you see, you got a double dilemma going on between him and Sony. And obviously they can resolve that easy by making a PS6 version, which is good because you already got past all the waiting. Just be a little bit more patient. You see what I mean? So that's why I was answering that for you guys, because I'm telling you, that's what it is. People always wanted an answer. You got it. Because they're saving that for the PS6 to learn all the suckers that they think that they're making a sequel, but the whole gen will pass by and won't ever touch it because Song doesn't care for either Demon or Blood outside of remakes. I think he meant to say Sony. So yeah, here's the article over here though, guys. Let's get to it. It says, well, we already read the headline. It says right here. Oh yes, Bloodborne. At this point, Bloodborne fans aren't even asking for a miracle anymore. We're asking for the bare minimum. No, go all the way. I can wait. There's plenty of games. A remaster. No, I want a remake. A PS5 patch because I want you to do the challenge dungeon the correct way, or maybe you realize that wasn't what people wanted and add a lot more content, add more weapons, add more variety, add more areas over that and can that and make it better. Because a lot of people were saying that, like, you know, that was kind of the weakness of it. So if you do that and be able to add in stuff, because you could do a remake and not a remaster. You can reimagine more things in there and realize the mistakes you made with that and make the game even more perfect. Add even more content, more covenants. You see what I mean, guys? Like they could do that. You don't want a remaster. You want a remake. And then like we need to make sure we make that known. That's why I'm even making this video that, hey, you can wipe out the chalice dungeon and put something better there and add more deeper aspects to the game. Yeah, they can do that. I'm telling you. A PS5 patch, a performance upgrade, anything. I don't think they want to do that because they want you to focus on what they're going to be doing with the PS6. Because it's honestly wild that one of PlayStation's most beloved modern exclusives is still locked to PS4 hardware. Stuck at 30 frames per second. Yeah, I always thought that was annoying. And left behind while Sony keeps pretending it doesn't exist. I don't think that's the case. I think, like I said, with that agreement, that's going to happen. And what makes it sting even more is that Sony already proved it knows how to revive a Souls-like classic with the Demon Souls royal treatment. A next-gen showcase for the PS5 release that screamed, this is what the console can do. So the question practically writes itself, is Sony willing to remake Demon Souls? If Sony's willing to make Demon Souls, why has it ignored Bloodborne for so long? I don't understand why this guy doesn't get it though. Because you just basically answered your own question. They wanted a treatment to show what the PS5 could do with Demon Souls. Why would they do that with Bloodborne when that was a PS4 game? They're going to show what the PS6 can do with Bloodborne. See what I mean? All you gotta do is apply that logic. That's very simple to figure out and deduct. On top of Miyazaki is going to be involved. He wasn't even involved in the Demon Souls remake, and look at how good that was. Bloodborne remake will be even better. So we kind of get that idea right there. Bloodborne is still a classic for a reason. A cult classic, of course. First off, Bloodborne isn't just another Souls-like experience. It's a game that took from Software's formula and turned it into something feral. Where Dark Souls taught patience, defense, and discipline, Bloodborne pushed aggression, speed, and brutality. Yeah, what it did. It was at its best when you stopped playing cautiously and started playing like a hunter, always on the attack. Absolutely. There's even a mechanic built around that mindset, the rally system that lets you regain lost health by immediately striking back after taking damage. Almost like the game is daring you to smack the enemy in the face before you lose the health for good. Compare that to Dark Souls, and I say this as someone who loves the series, yeah, I beat all of them, where you'd back off, create space, and sip an Estus flask. Both approaches are great, but they're completely different philosophies. Bloodborne didn't want you to retreat, it wanted you to keep swinging. Yeah, I don't want to hear. And that's the world of Yharnam. It's still one of the greatest settings in gaming, period. The grim Victorian horror vibe, the sickly streets, the layered madness hiding behind polite society. Then the game flips the table halfway through and dives straight into cosmic horror. And suddenly you realize you never truly understand what you were fighting in the first place. It's unforgettable in a way that few games manage to pull off. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely really good. But it isn't just the setting that makes Bloodborne special. There are so many unforgettable locations and bosses that still live rent-free in my head. And one of the biggest standouts would always be Ludwig, the curse from the Bloodborne, the Old Hunters DLC. Yeah, I mean, nah, man, screw that. It's freaking, what's that damn creature on the beach? God, he's annoying. He's so annoying. He's always screaming when you fight him. But yeah, he was annoying me big time. I think a lot of people were struggling on that bastard. Orphan to Chaos, whatever the hell his name is. I don't remember, but God, he was annoying. The fight kicked my ass more times than I want to admit. I dogged him. The only one that gave me trouble was the Chaos guy on the beach. He was really annoying. But when I finally took him down and thought it was over, the game did From Software does best and pulled the rug out from under me. Ludwig gets back up and pulls out one of From Software's most infamous weapons of all time, the Moonlight Greatsword. And then he says he lost his stuff. Yeah, I know what he means. Like, this is the thing with this game. Like, if you haven't played it, I highly recommend it. It's definitely a special game, and it is unforgettable. I liked Dark Souls 3, but it wasn't no Bloodborne. I like Dark Souls 2, but Miyazaki wasn't involved in it. It was too easy till you got into the DLC. Dark Souls 1 was good, but Demon Souls and Bloodborne, the PlayStation exclusives, outside of Elden Ring, which is obviously peak, are definitely my favorite ones. So... oh, he's like talking about Lies of P. Yeah, that's another good game. But yeah, I mean, let's go down here a little bit and read something else because he's just kind of describing things. It's still selling even without Sony lifting a finger. I still have my game and it's flawless, 0 scratches. Well, I have it digital, but yeah, that's cool. Sony has released a recent official update on Bloodborne's lifetime sales, even. But internal PlayStation sales data surfaced publicly in 2023 listed that the game was at 7.46 million copies sold as of 2022. It may be at 8 million. I'm pretty sure it is. Since the figure is now several years old, the game's current sales total is unknown. I'm pretty sure it's at 8 million. Easily. Given Bloodborne's continued popularity and steady visibility in the broader Souls community, it is reasonable to assume this title has continued to sell beyond that point, but any estimates above February 2022 figure remain speculative without an official update from Sony. That's the key detail. Even without a patch, a remaster, or a PC release, Bloodborne keeps moving copies. It stays relevant. It trends constantly. It gets recommended to every Souls fan who plays Elden Ring and wants to see what else From Software has done. True. And the fact that it's a PS4 game only helps. You could still buy it digitally, grab a physical copy easily, and play it on both PS4 and PS5 thanks to backwards compatibility. Demon Souls never had that advantage. The original was locked to the PS3 and isn't available on the modern PlayStation Store the way Bloodborne is. Sure, the PS5 remake exists, but that's PS5 only, meaning PS4 owners are left out entirely. Yeah? Look, there's a reason why there's such a big push to get Bloodborne running on a PC. And we're at that point where if you have the hardware, then you can run the game upscaled and at 4K. I've seen it, and my God, it's the stuff of legends. Yeah, I mean, it is pretty cool, but they were shutting down and attacking some of that stuff. So add accessibility to the list of why Bloodborne continues to sell, why Demon Souls needed a remake to stay in the conversation. Why Sony still won't touch it. Well, I've already explained that, but I get what he's kind of trying to speculate, but it's like, dude, it's out on the open. There was even Miyazaki interviews and even what Sony said is like, Miyazaki doesn't want it to be touched. And he's like, they own the IP. They're going to kind of like play that game and then hit you out of nowhere with the PS6 version, I'm telling you. So that's kind of like my thing. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this. Leave comments down below. I honestly, like I said, think that this game is going to get a PS6 version and they're waiting 2 generations to do the same thing that they did with Demon Souls. And that is the best way to deduct this. Later, y'all. Peace out. Have a great day. Keep gaming.